Since we're talking about Stargirl, how was the episode?
Took a break from Blue Valley last week, but my goodness, did the tension ramp up in the most recent episode? Just let me check. Reed, did you check into it this week?
I missed the bus to Blue Valley. I ended up I
Oh.
ended up in Horseshoe Bay instead. I'm sorry.
Well, I suppose I can catch you up on it. So yes, the main story, as we know, is the murder mystery, but the side story, which is starting to take front and center, is Courtney helping Cameron with his ice powers. And so the episode pretty much opened where last week's left off, in that them two are very happy together. They seem to have started a relationship, and he walked her home, which is really cute, really nice. Exactly the kind of nice guy you'd love to say. But then that comes with the other end of the equation. The JSA are not happy that Courtney is spending all their time with the son of their former villain. So it's creating a lot of tension.
Generational feuding.
Yeah, very much so, very much so. And so she is vowed to help Cameron with his powers, but he doesn't know any of the history. I think I mentioned that before. He doesn't know anything about superheroes, villains, any of that. So he's like, how can you help me if you don't know anything? And she was like, Wikipedia. So that was a really cute moment. But that's how innocent she is playing it when she's with him. But so she needed someone to confide in about how happy she was being in a relationship for the first time, and she knew how the JSA would react. So in a really sweet moment, she decided to confide in Cindy instead. And Cindy was like, I can actually imagine the two of you together and you look good together. And she was kind of happy for her without saying that she's
Cindy
happy.
loves drama though.
Exactly.
She's like, yeah,
So-
go for it.
Cindy does not know that Courtney knows about Cameron's ice powers.
Oh.
So Cindy went to Cameron, pushed him, not literally, but like pushed him, his buttons emotionally, tormented him with some memories of him from a childhood, and actually got him to ice his eyes over. So that she got the confirmation she needed. So she went back to Courtney. It was like, just wanted to let you know, Cameron's got ice powers like his grandparents. And Courtney was like, already knew that. So Cindy was like, why aren't you telling everyone? So basically Courtney's torn. She wants to tell Cameron everything because she thinks she's afraid of his grandparents turning him into the next icicle. And she thinks that their connection and the fact that he's a good parent or person could overrule that. But the rest of the JSA aren't sold because he's been indoctrinated into this villain in his life for so long. So how could he know anything else? But the point is, it was really nice seeing Cindy have that moment. Even if she does like to cause some chaos, her and Courtney seem to be on like quite an interesting level now, which is nice to say. The other part of it is, while everything is going to hell in the JSA, Starman has stepped up to lead them, and he has some anger problems. He lost it on a mission when he entered the ISA's old headquarters and seen a painting of them, and just decided to use the staff to burn the painting because he didn't like the fact the painting was looking at him. My man has some anger issues. So the JSA is like, Courtney, Sylvester's cool, but he's got anger problems. And they were quite mean to Cameron when he showed up. And told him to go away because they're in a meeting, which Courtney didn't appreciate, because I think the reason her and Cindy are starting to connect is because even though one was a hero, one was a villain, they both had terrible fathers. So Cindy and Courtney have bonded over that, and they were like, that's what Cindy said to Courtney: you can't tell Cameron about his father because he has a terrible father as well. Wouldn't you rather that he got to grow up thinking his father was a good man, rather than being in the same position as us two, growing up with terrible fathers? So that was an interesting dynamic. And Cindy made a great point, chaos and all. She made a very good point.
Wait, did you mean Cindy had a bad dad or Courtney had a bad dad?
Both of them did.
I didn't. Oh, Luke Wilson's the stepfather.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I was like,
Yeah.
Luke Wilson's bad.
Yeah, no, Courtney's father was just some waste of space who abandoned her years ago, showed up in town recently, stole the necklace that he had given her when she was a child, and then left again so he could sell it.
Flop.
Exactly. So basically, and then of course Cindy's father is Dragon King, the monstrous Dragon King who experimented on her and turned her into part lizard. So she's still having issues with her arm. That it wasn't delved into as much, but Cindy's still going through it off camera. But the JSA kind of got their stuff together in the end. The only problem was it was Sylvester who helped them do that, not Courtney, because Courtney still like got heart eyes for Cameron all the time. But Sylvester gave the JSA some great advice. And Yolanda, who's Wildcat, she still doesn't trust Cindy. So Sylvester told her to continue to investigate. So Wildcat broke into Cindy's room, and in the closing moments of the episode, what did she find under Cindy's bed? The gambler's laptop. So that's the tension. That's the big cliffhanger. And she was like, there's going to be trouble. And I know for a fact next week, all hell breaks loose. Something dramatic always happens in the 6th episode. There's always an excellent fight scene in the 6th episode. And it's not really a spoiler if it was in the trailer, but I can confirm that episode 6 of the season will have another fantastic fight scene. And yes, all hell will break loose. But I'm pretty sure I said about 3 weeks ago, the girlies are fighting in Blue Valley. And well, the fighting will continue in the next as we go on in the murder mystery. And I think at the heart of it, it's going to be Wildcat versus Cindy, because Cindy lied. Wildcat was right about her all along. Cindy has the laptop. But does that mean Cindy committed the murder? We'll have to wait and see.
Sabrina, are you still on Cindy's side?
I am. She's a chaos queen, and that is okay. I know that she is messy and she likes drama, but I do think somewhere in there is a girl who just wants to be part of a community, even if she prods at that community all the time. I say this without having seen a single scene.
She's going to be like, yeah, I have the gambler's laptop, so what?
Yes, I was investigating. What were you doing? I don't trust her, but I trust that she's doing what she needs to be doing that benefits herself. Mm-hmm. And that does not necessarily mean that she's covering up a murder that she committed. It could just be, she likes having all the cards and all the answers.
So you're on her side, but she just does not make it easy.
Yes, exactly. Because when you were like, I know that Cindy's only on Courtney's side about Cameron. There's so many C's. Anyway, about Cameron because she was waiting to drop that bomb about the ice powers. Yeah. But, she just likes drama. Not to mention now Courtney and Cindy can bond because Courtney's lying. Yeah, exactly. To have the whole JSA and Cameron. Unfortunately, that's going to blow up in her face.
Oh, it is. It is. I know. I think that's the reason they bonded so well. Basically, Sabrina, everything you said about Cindy, about being on her side, even though she doesn't make it easy, that's a day in Courtney's life in a nutshell. She is on Cindy's side, but Cindy does not make it easy. Yeah, the episode opened with a flashback to remember when Cindy was standing over the gambler's body and with the gun that fired, and she was like, I didn't do it. We actually got to see what actually happened. I forgot to mention that. The episode actually opened with Cindy standing over the gambler's body, and she picked up the gambler's gun. Right as she did that, her lizard arm started taking out, and that's what forced her to fire the shot, so she didn't shoot him. But the fact is, her shiv was still pointed out, and the gambler had a big hole in his chest. So again, it was Cindy the one who stabbed him through the heart.
Why did she take the gun?
I don't actually know. That's a good point.
It's like, girl, your prints are going to be on it.
I think she picked it up. I don't know, out of curiosity. But that was when we actually saw her. She found the laptop. She was going to his trailer just for the laptop. She was so excited when she found the laptop in the midst of what was left of his trailer. And I think, if I theorize based on what we've seen so far correctly, is that she was trying to hack into his laptop to find out something about Dragon King, because the gambler worked with her father. I think she wanted to find the location of his labs, because she did go to his labs but didn't find anything. She wanted to find the location of his labs because something is happening to her, and she was hoping that Dragon King's labs would have the answer. And in order to find the location to Dragon King's labs, she needed the laptop. So,
but like, girl, don't have it on your person.
Right.
I get it, but she's still going to beat these allegations. She is. She's just not really that great at hiding her trail.
It's not looking good.
I know, but I am
evidence
still here.
Is stacked against her. Like, she need a good lawyer.
Oh man, it's not a good time to be Cindy. And I can tease. I can say that will continue in next week's episode. it's very much Courtney is putting herself on the line to fight for Cindy. And like we've said, Cindy is not making it easy. She understandably has her own agenda with whatever is going on with her arm, whether she's turning into a dragon queen. But people are starting to turn against her, which isn't surprising considering her reputation. Though I will say one thing. Courtney's little brother, Mike, who was actually the one who ran Icicle down in the first season, him and his best friend, Jakeem, want to be taken seriously, and none of the JSA take them seriously because they're younger. When Ness found out what was going on with Cindy, they went to Cindy. It was like, a woman like you needs to be appreciated. So why don't you join us? Because she helped, she saved them in the hallway. They were being bullied, and she battered the bully, or at least threatened to, and then like walked off in this epic slow motion moment. And they were like looking at her with hard eyes. So they were like, a woman like you needs to be appreciated. Why not ditch the JSA and join us, the all-star squadron? Naturally, that made her bust out laughing in the corridor. It was like, you're adorable, but no. And then left them high and dry in the corridor. So I don't know if that'll come back up, but they seem to be the only ones outside of Courtney showing Cindy some appreciation. I don't know.
She needs allies. I hope she really realizes that. Like, you can't, good luck,
She's
girl.
got three. She's got three right now, and the most important being Courtney, which, by the way, Michael, is Yolanda Courtney's best friend? Are we about to have best friends fighting?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, frenemies is like every time you
try.
say something, I'm like, I understand why it's called frenemies.
Infighting, outfighting. Yes, Yolanda was the first person Courtney recruited to the JSA. She's Wildcat. And that's what Cindy actually asked Courtney when Courtney came up to her. She was like, why are you talking to me and not Cat Girl or whatever her name is? But Courtney said she knows Yolanda would judge her just because that would be the wrong thing to do. I think Courtney was afraid of the JSA telling her exactly what she didn't want to hear. So she went to the one person who would be like, yeah, I don't care. And that's exactly what she got from Cindy. But even more than that, she got a little bit of currying, which is more than anyone expected from Cindy, which A, highlights how Cindy changed, but B, highlights some of the issues going on in the JSA right now, because they're not really trusting each other. And Courtney is probably she's like a paragon of integrity. Nobody questions Courtney, but now because she is kind of infatuated with Cameron, trying to help Cameron, and now starting to lie to the JSA, people are starting to doubt her. Nobody thinks she murdered the gambler, but she was the only one safe from the pointing the finger. And now because she's like ditching them to go and do her own thing, people are starting to point the finger at her, which is, I think, is why maybe she's starting to bond with Cindy that little bit more.
Trauma, peak trauma, expecting tears come episode 6.
Oh, yes. Is it a spoiler to say you might get them? We'll have to wait and see.